Californians think about the big one. It's typically an earthquake, but meteorologists are now debating another extreme weather event that could hit the Golden State, an Arkstorm or atmospheric river 1,000-year storm that could dump as much as 100 inches of rain on some parts of the state, displacing millions. With more, we are joined by seismologist Dr. Lucy Jones. She was the chief scientist of the USGS Multi-Hazard Project. That's the group behind the Arkstorm scenario. Right. There's even a video that was produced to show this Arkstorm and its impact. In this video, I watched it. It's all based off of the Great Flood of 1862. Good to see you, Dr. Lucy. What is this Arkstorm scenario about, and what's the possibility of it actually happening?
Something like the Arkstorm will happen at some point. Just like the earthquake's inevitable, the variation in rain is inevitable. The difference is that, there are beneficial rainstorms. We don't really have beneficial earthquakes. But when the rain gets too intense, there's a lot of damage. And when we modeled what would happen in a really big flood, the type of one that happens every few hundred years, and compared it to what happens in the big earthquake that's once every few hundred years, we actually saw more damage from the storm than we did from the earthquake. Because, we used to have floods all the time in California. And we built our levees and we built our debris basins and dams and controlled it and got rid of the smaller ones. But if we exceed the capacity, or perhaps I should say when we exceed the capacity of our current flood control, because that can always happen at any point, we will start seeing large parts of the state flooded. And in fact, in this model, which was actually a little bit less than the 1862 storm, we saw 24% of the properties of California being damaged by floodwater.
Okay, that brings me to, when I'm watching this, it's pretty terrifying to see this video that was produced. This was produced, by the way, in 2022, so it's more than a year old.
No.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's like 2011.
Oh, 2011. Okay, 2011. So
right, it's a decade old.
But it's making the rounds right now on social media. It's getting a lot of attention. I mean, we heard Jonathan, by next week, downtown Los Angeles could have 9 inches. So how realistic is this actually happening? Go ahead. All
right, so what makes a really bad storm is it doesn't stop. To get to the level that's that level of damage, and what happened in 1862 was that the rain doesn't stop. In 1862, we had 45 consecutive days of rain. And what we're seeing this week is not considered beneficial rain. It's enough rain to be potentially damaging, but it's only going on for 5 days or something like this, right? And it would really need to be going on for weeks to get to the level of damage that's comparable to a big earthquake.
Okay, so then I saw another video that says there's a 30% chance of this Arkstorm happening in the next 30 years. Is that true?
That implies a 1% per year chance. That's probably a little high. When we look in the historic record, I mean, how do you right? We don't have people, but we can use geology and look at times when we've seen really big flood deposits offshore. And we see the Arkstorm level of storms every 200-300 years is the sort of average time. So the 1%, 30% chance in 30 years, that's too high. That's an earthquake sort of number.
Okay, well, that puts me at ease. And then I think really, to prepare for this, and I think this is sort of the point of the video that was created by USGS, is to, we need to prepare for this. Officials who have the ability to, do the levees and the flood control.
There's 2 messages. One is to the state. Yes, fixing up levees isn't a useless prospect. It really is quite important. Very few of our levees are built to the level that they really should be to protect people. There's also, though, it's a recognition that we are afraid of earthquakes much more than we are of floods. And it's trying to help people to see that it isn't just rain. It can be very damaging, and therefore take precautions. Don't think, doesn't matter, I'll just go drive where I was going to drive. When we're getting really heavy rainfall like this, take it seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's turn around, don't drown. That's what meteorologists say all the time. Okay, well, Dr. Lucy Jones, always appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Okay.